The wedding coordinator found me in the bridal suite, trying not to cry off my carefully applied makeup. Through the window, I could see guests arriving at the botanical garden, the afternoon sun casting golden light through the oak trees I'd specifically chosen for this moment. "Isabella," she said gently, "your mother-in-law and sisters-in-law have arrived. They're wearing white." I turned from the mirror, my cathedral-length veil catching on the chair. "All of them?" She nodded, her professional smile wavering. "All three, matching dresses. Actually, your mother-in-law is telling guests it's a family tradition." My maid of honor, Celia, dropped her lipstick. "Are you kidding me?" "That's not even the worst part," the coordinator continued. "She's insisting on giving a speech during the ceremony, says she has parental rights since she's the groom's mother." I closed my eyes, breathing through my nose. Patricia Donovan had made her feelings about me crystal clear over the past 2 years. I wasn't Catholic. I wasn't from their social circle. I wasn't the partner she'd chosen for her precious youngest son. But showing up to my wedding in white, that was a new low, even for her. "Let her," I said finally. "What?" Celia spun around. "Bella, no. This is your wedding day. Let her give her speech. Let them wear white." I stood, smoothing down my silk gown, the one Patricia had called too simple when she'd seen it at the fitting. "In fact, make sure the photographer gets lots of pictures." The coordinator looked uncertain but nodded. As she left, Celia grabbed my hands. "What are you thinking?" she asked. "I know that look. That's your planning something look." I smiled, checking my grandmother's pearl earrings in the mirror. "I'm thinking that Patricia Donovan is about to learn why my simple background included a business degree and an inheritance she knows nothing about." The ceremony was beautiful. Despite the 3 women in white sitting in the front row like a panel of judges, my husband Marcus looked stunned when he saw them, shooting me an apologetic look that I answered with a reassuring smile. His brothers, Thomas and James, at least had the decency to look embarrassed by their mother's behavior. When it came time for Patricia's speech, she stood with all the grandeur of a queen addressing her subjects. The photographer, following my earlier instructions, captured every moment. "I've known my Marcus since the day he was born," she began, her voice carrying across the garden. "I've watched him grow from a beautiful boy into a successful man, and as his mother, I've always wanted the very best for him." Several guests shifted uncomfortably. Marcus gripped my hand tighter. "Marriage," Patricia continued, "is about compatibility, about shared values, shared backgrounds, shared expectations." She looked directly at me. "Sometimes we fall in love with the idea of someone different, someone exotic or exciting, but real love, lasting love, comes from understanding, from knowing where you belong." My mother's face was thunderous. My father looked ready to stand up. I squeezed Marcus's hand 3 times, our signal for "it's okay." "I remember when Marcus dated Catherine Morrison," Patricia said, and I heard several guests gasp. "Such a lovely girl, from such a good family. Sometimes I wonder what might have been if." "Mom," Marcus warned, but she waved him off. "I'm simply saying that we all make choices, and we hope our children make the right ones." To Marcus and Isabella, she raised her champagne glass with all the enthusiasm of someone toasting a funeral. The reception was worse. Patricia held court at the family table, loudly reminiscing about Marcus's ex-girlfriends, criticizing the menu, too spicy, not everyone appreciates ethnic food, and making passive-aggressive comments about the venue. I suppose outdoor weddings are quaint, in their way. Her daughters, Stephanie and Marie, followed her lead. They complained about their bridesmaid dresses, which I'd specifically excluded them from after they'd tried to hijack my bachelorette party. They made snide remarks about my family's cute attempts at formal wear. They even staged a photo shoot in their white dresses in front of my wedding arch. "I'm going to kill them," Celia muttered, watching as Patricia intercepted the photographer again. "Just say the word." "No need," I said, sipping my champagne. "Let them have their fun." Marcus found me during the father-daughter dance, pulling me aside. "Bella, I'm so sorry, I had no idea they were planning this. The dresses, the speech, I'll talk to them." "Don't," I said, straightening his bow tie. "Your mother made her position clear today, in front of 200 witnesses. That's actually very helpful." He frowned. "Helpful? Just trust me." I kissed him softly. "And maybe start looking at real estate listings in other neighborhoods." "But we just signed the lease on the apartment near my parents." "Trust me," I repeated. 6 months passed. 6 months of Patricia dropping by our apartment unannounced, criticizing everything from my cooking to my career as a financial advisor. 6 months of family dinners where she seated Marcus's ex-girlfriend's mother next to me by accident. 6 months of her telling anyone who'd listen that Marcus had married down but she was making the best of it. Through it all, I smiled, I documented, and I planned. The Donovan family lived in Rosewood Estates, an exclusive retirement community 40 minutes outside the city. Patricia never tired of bragging about it, the golf course, the spa, the waiting list that was years long. What she didn't know was that Rosewood Estates had been hemorrhaging money for 2 years, caught between rising maintenance costs and residents who refused fee increases. What she also didn't know was that my simple background included a grandmother who'd left me a considerable inheritance, or that I'd spent the last 6 months quietly building an investment group interested in distressed luxury properties. The day we closed on Rosewood Estates, I sat in my new office, formerly the property manager's, and reviewed the resident files. The Donovans had been model residents for 15 years, always paid on time, followed the rules, participated in community events. Their lease was ironclad, protected by state laws governing retirement communities. Unless, of course, the new ownership found violations of the community guidelines. I spent 3 weeks reviewing security footage, documentation, and speaking with staff. What I found was illuminating. The Donovans had been running a small business out of their unit, Patricia's consulting firm, that she'd never registered. They'd been subletting their guest room during peak season without permission. They'd made unauthorized modifications to their unit. All minor violations, all things the previous management had ignored, all grounds for eviction under the strict letter of their lease agreement. I could have moved immediately, but I waited until Patricia threw another family dinner where she spent 2 hours telling the story of my wedding day, complete with photos of her in white, laughing about how she'd made her point about Marcus marrying beneath him. The eviction notice was delivered the next morning. My phone rang within the hour. Marcus, confused and panicked. Bella, my parents just called. They got some crazy letter saying they have 60 days to vacate. It has to be a mistake. It's not a mistake, I said calmly, reviewing contracts at my desk. They've violated multiple terms of their lease agreement. The new management company is simply enforcing the rules. New management company? A pause. Bella, what did you do? Me? I bought a distressed property and turned it into a profitable investment. Your parents happen to be residents who've broken the rules. That's just unfortunate timing. You bought their retirement community? I bought a retirement community. The fact that it's theirs is coincidental. I paused. Well, mostly coincidental. Bella. Did you know your mother has been telling people I trapped you? That I deliberately got pregnant to force a wedding? I kept my voice light, conversational. We weren't even engaged when she started that rumor. Silence. Or that she's been forwarding your ex's Instagram posts to your work email? The ones where Catherine talks about the one who got away? Your assistant mentioned it to me at the Christmas party. I didn't know. Of course you didn't, because you want to see the best in your mother. But Marcus, your mother made a choice. She chose to humiliate me on our wedding day. She chose to spend 6 months trying to break up our marriage. And now she's chosen to face the consequences. Where will they go? He asked quietly. There are lovely communities all over the state. I hear Sunshine Acres has availability. It's quite nice. Not as exclusive as Rosewood. Of course, the golf course only has 9 holes, but I'm sure they'll adjust. That evening, Patricia showed up at our apartment. Patricia burst through our door without knocking. She'd made herself a copy of our key, another thing Marcus hadn't known. You vindictive little witch, she screamed, waving the eviction notice. You think you can throw us out of our home? I think you violated sections 3, 2, 5, 6, and 7, 1 of your lease agreement, I said, not looking up from my laptop. The lawyers were quite clear about the grounds for eviction. This is about the wedding, she spat. You pathetic, petty. The wedding where you wore white, where you gave a speech about Marcus's ex-girlfriend, where you tried to humiliate me in front of everyone I love? I finally looked up. Yes, Patricia, it's about the wedding, and every single day since then that you've tried to destroy my marriage. I'm his mother, I have rights. You have no rights in my property. I cut her off, just like you had no right to wear white to my wedding, no right to undermine my marriage, no right to treat me like I'm beneath you. Marcus, she turned to her son, who'd been silent in the doorway. Are you going to let her do this to your family? Marcus looked at her for a long moment. Then he walked over and stood beside me. Mom, show me your dress from the wedding. What? Your white dress, the one you wore to my wedding. Show me the pictures. Patricia's face flushed. That's not. Show me the speech you gave, the one about Catherine. About how I should have married someone from a good family. His voice was steady, calm. Show me the emails you've been sending, the ones where you call my wife a gold digger. I was protecting you. From what? From the woman who makes me laugh every day? Who supports my dreams? Who's building a future with me? He shook his head. The only thing you were protecting was your own ego. She's turned you against me, Patricia whispered. No, Mom, you did that yourself. He took the eviction notice from her hand. 60 days. I suggest you start packing. Patricia left in tears, slamming the door behind her. Marcus sank onto the couch, head in his hands. I'm sorry, he said quietly. I should have stood up to her sooner, should have stopped the wedding thing before it happened. I sat beside him, taking his hand. We all have blind spots when it comes to family. 60 days, he repeated. That's really happening? Unless they want to sue, but their lawyer will tell them they don't have grounds. I was very careful about that. Where will they go? Your father's pension and their savings will cover a nice 2-bedroom at Sunshine Acres, or they could buy a condo in town. They have options. I squeezed his hand. They just won't have Rosewood, and more importantly, they won't have power over us anymore. The next 2 months were a whirlwind of angry phone calls, family interventions, and threats of lawsuits. Thomas and James tried to play peacemaker, then got angry when they realized I'd legally outmaneuvered their parents. Extended family chose sides. Social media exploded with Patricia's version of events, the evil daughter-in-law throwing out helpless elderly people. I responded by posting my wedding photos, all of them, the ones showing 3 women in white dresses at my wedding, their smirks visible as Patricia gave her speech. The internet was surprisingly supportive. Moving day came with drama, of course. Patricia staged a sit-in, requiring actual law enforcement to remove her. She cried for the cameras, a neighbor was filming, about the cruelty of today's young people. I watched from my office window as they loaded their moving truck, Stephanie and Marie shooting daggers at the building, Thomas and James helping grudgingly, Marcus standing apart from them all. My assistant knocked. Mrs. Donovan, the new residents are here for their tour. Send them in, I said, turning from the window. The Patel family entered, a young couple with twins, looking excited and nervous. They'd been on the waiting list for 3 years, priced out by the previous management's policies. We can't believe we got in, Mrs. Patel gushed. When the letter came saying there was an opening, we thought it was a mistake. No mistake, I assured them. We're under new management now. Things are going to be different at Rosewood. They left with keys to the Donovans' former unit, the best location in the complex, with views of the lake and golf course. Patricia would hate knowing who'd taken her place, which, I'll admit, influenced my decision slightly. That night, Marcus and I had dinner in our apartment, quietly, peacefully, without fear of unexpected visits or critical commentary. Do you regret it? I asked, watching him push pasta around his plate. Honestly, no. He looked up. I'm sad it came to this, but I'm not sad they're gone. Is that terrible? It's honest, I said, and it's okay to grieve the relationship you wanted while acknowledging the relationship you had. Very therapist-like. He smiled slightly. Have you been reading self-help books again? Maybe. I reached across the table for his hand. Are we okay? We're more than okay. He squeezed back. For the first time in our marriage, we actually get to be just us. No interference, no judgment, no surprise visits. No more white dresses at our events, I added. He laughed. Finally, God, the dresses. I still can't believe they did that. Believe it, I have photos. The internet certainly has photos. Did you see the memes? My favorite was the one comparing them to the 3 ghosts of Christmas. We laughed together, the tension finally breaking. Outside, the city lights twinkled, and somewhere across town, Patricia was probably settling into her new, smaller home, telling anyone who'd listen about her ungrateful daughter-in-law. But I didn't care anymore. She'd shown me who she was on my wedding day, in front of everyone who mattered. She'd tried to mark her territory by wearing white to my wedding, never realizing I was the kind of woman who bought the whole territory instead. The retirement home flourished under new management. We implemented sliding scale fees, improved services, and created a community that actually felt like home. The waitlist grew longer, but for the right reasons this time. Marcus's relationship with his family slowly healed, though it was never the same. Boundaries were established and mostly respected. Patricia learned to keep her opinions to herself, especially after Thomas pointed out that I now owned several other properties they might need someday. And our wedding photos? They became legend in our social circle. The cautionary tale of what happens when you underestimate the quiet girl in the simple dress. The one who smiles through your insults while buying your home out from under you. Patricia had worn white to my wedding to make a statement. She just never realized I was taking notes. And in the business world, good notes are worth their weight in retirement community real estate. Checkmate. Patricia, I hope the 9-hole golf course is everything you deserve.